Open Adoption and Family Services. Service Provider Voices, Nicole Tucker. Please introduce yourself and tell us about your job.
My name is Nicole Tucker. I currently work for DHS in Lane County, and I'm a child protection services worker, and I do child abuse investigations and assessments.
What motivates you in your work?
I really like helping families. I like to make sure that the kids are safe. I like to work with families to get them the services they need, whether they're struggling with substance abuse, mental health, or just financial despair at the time.
Describe the mom's situation and what led you to call OA&FS.
I responded to a call from the hospital into our screening hotline that indicated there was a woman who had just delivered a baby. She was not interested in parenting, wanted to place the child up for adoption. So when I made contact with the mother, she indicated to me that she did not want to parent. She was not in a place where she could parent. And she had apprehensions about notifying her family because she didn't want them to know that she'd had a child. And so I talked through the options with her, one being the agency could take protective custody and place the child in foster care and eventually be adopted, but that by law, I was required to contact her family to notify them in case they wanted to parent. When she told me that that was absolutely not an option for her, I let her know that we do work with an adoption agency and I would contact them for her if she was looking at placing the child up for adoption, and we could potentially get him adopted straight from the hospital.
Describe the open adoption process.
I called Open Adoption and Family Services for her after I notified her of the organization and what they could do to help her and her child, and was able to get in contact with somebody immediately and locally on the phone in order to expedite the process and make sure the child had a safe place to discharge once he was medically cleared. I was in the hospital room with the mother when she was on the phone with the counselor. She sounded very positive, and it sounded like it was really something she wanted for her child, and the fact that she was able to choose the family made the process so much easier for her. I was able to communicate with the counselor throughout and got notification when the child had been adopted and picked up at the hospital.
How did the process meet the mom's needs?
She didn't know what to do. She didn't have a plan, and the process was really smooth for her, and it made for a very easy transition that she didn't have to do much work for. Everything was taken care of.
Do you feel it's important for moms who are at risk of state intervention to have access to this alternative?
I absolutely think that it is important for them to have access to this should they choose not to parent. Most of the families we come in contact with want to parent, and that's not a viable option for them in that moment. So if we do come across families who are wanting this as an option and it's available to them, it's very helpful to have the information to be able to coordinate for them so it's not an added stressor in the moment that they're going through. I would share with coworkers that it was by far the easiest experience that I've had with a mom who is not ready to parent. Your agency was able to make the process seamless not only for me, but for the mother as well, and the hospital.
What's the best way for OA&FS to support child welfare caseworkers?
I think just knowing that we have you as a resource, I can explain to coworkers or supervisors, and we can present how to effectively use it, who you contact. The fact that there was a local number of a person who answered right away is invaluable when you're in the field and trying to make important decisions in a very short period of time. I think it's a fantastic service, and I hope it's something that we can utilize consistently moving forward.
Thanks, Nicole. At OA&FS, we've worked with many struggling moms who've decided to plan an open adoption. One of them is Lilly, who placed her son Michael with adoptive mom Kari in 2016. Here, Kari, who's a single mom, talks about meeting Lilly for the first time.
As soon as I met her, my fears just started diminishing. We had such a wonderful conversation about what is she like, what's her background. She asked me questions about my home. What do I like to do? About my dogs, because she loves dogs. And it just turned into this normal conversation you would have with someone you would meet for the first time. After a while, she just said, would you like to meet him? And I knew then that she then was comfortable with me being the parent. Last thing that she said to me was, please take care of our son. I'll never forget it. And, that just told me how much she loved him and that she would have an opportunity to be in his life. I made it very clear to her, and still do, how much I love her and value her and want her to be there to meet Michael and to see him as he grows up. And her interaction with me and all the questions that she asked me, and also asked my mom, who was there, showed me that she was invested in his future.
Describe your relationship with Lilly.
Had a wonderful visit, and getting a chance to see her doing so well at that time was amazing too. She just looks so great. Since then, we've kept in constant contact. We talk about every other week over Facebook. She sees Michael growing up through his pictures and my posts and comments on them, which I love.
Previously, Michael's birth sister was placed with an adoptive family. Kari stays in close touch with them.
The kids call each other brother and sister. They FaceTime each other, and they are our family. We get together with their grandparents. They get together with our grandparents. It's a big extended family. And when we went to visit Lilly, Brian, Nicole, and Ellie actually went with us. So Lilly was able to see her son and daughter interacting, and just to see them together. I mean, those pictures that we have from that day are priceless. It's pretty amazing.
How has your friendship with Lilly changed your perspective?
There's not really a lot of difference, I feel like, between, me and Lilly. She just happened to get different circumstances of her upbringing that I didn't have. Meeting her really helped me see how much love and caring she has. Her doing drugs while being pregnant has no reflection on how much she loves Michael. I have no doubt that she loved him then and she still loves him.
Open Adoption and Family Services. Service Provider Voices. Produced by Open Adoption and Family Services. Connect with us at 1-800-772-1115 or go to openadopt.org.